Halo Combat Evolved was played and recorded on the Xbox One X. Because this is a remaster, I will start off with the graphics. Of course, the graphics are going to be a lot better than the original. One thing I would like to mention about this game is that if you hit the select button, you can switch between remastered graphics and the original graphics, which I really like to see. By doing this, it just shows you how much work they put into this remaster. The graphics to me are a lot like Halo 3 graphics, which is really good. With all of the little corridors within the ring on the original game, it was all foggy and stuff, but now on the remaster, you can see all the way down to the bottom, which gives you an extra sense of scale. All the cutscenes were obviously remastered, not as good as Halo 2, but still a lot better. Now on to the story. The main plotline centers around the character named Master Chief. Master Chief is a quiet character in this game, and does talk sometimes, but not very often. Master Chief is quite a mysterious character within this game. The main story is that you crash land on this mysterious ring called the Halo Ring. Throughout the game, you explore this ring and figure out its secrets and what it actually is meant for. Then your mission becomes more dire as you need to face off against a new enemy called the Flood, and in order to take down this enemy, you have to destroy the ring itself. Another main character that's in this game is named Cortana. She is an AI that helps Master Chief throughout the entire game and adds good comic relief to the game. The story is incredibly interesting. It starts off very mysteriously, and you're wondering what this ring is for, who built it, and what lies under the land. On to the music. For the music in this game, I only have one word for it. Wow. This music just sets the scene so well within the game. When you're facing off against the Flood, the music is scary and creepy. When you're facing off against the Covenant, the music becomes more upbeat. Sometimes the music stops at the perfect time while you're playing the game. The music is never overpowering and just sets all the missions very well. I also noticed that when you're playing in a mission and the music suddenly gets fast, then you start to get going and you get really arrogant, at least in my experience, and it just pumps you up. Because this game is a remaster, I will talk about the original sound and the new sound. So the original sound of course wasn't the greatest, but it was still very good and very nostalgic. That's all I really have to say about the original sound, but with the new sound effects, it's pretty good as well. The voice acting was perfect. I absolutely have no complaints about the voice acting at all. The volumes all across the board were very well balanced, and I have absolutely no complaints about the sound within this game. The controls are very simple, which I like a lot, and of course because it's the Master Chief Collection, you can change the controls to two specific sets like in the other games. Besides the campaign and a little bit of multiplayer, there's nothing at all to really do content-wise, but there are a few little things that they have. I like the fact that in the multiplayer part, you can customize the way your weapons look. I know that in the original game there was no multiplayer, but in this one they have multiplayer. I will point out a problem I had with this one, as I did with Halo Reach, which is the point system. Again, it's the same thing you have to do. These challenges to unlock these credits, and with these credits you can upgrade your weapons, which are only the skins, but again, you have to do these missions to get those special skins. I never got bored in this game. Surprisingly, I thought I would get bored at some parts, but I was in the game throughout the whole time and never got bored. It was always entertaining. It was entertaining because sometimes the Marines would have conversations with each other, and you can just listen in on them. There was surprisingly a lot of exploration within each map, and some parts of the map would even tell you stories that you would have to figure out yourself. What I mean by this is that sometimes there will be blood splatter on the wall or dead covenants, and you would go around and explore the area and see even more of this and wonder what happened and pick apart your own story. So this is the part of the review where I tell you what I like and did not like. I will first tell you what I did not like. If you have ever played Combat Evolve, you might know what I'm about to talk about. I absolutely hated the mission called the Library. Now, to be fair, this was a game like 20 years ago, but still, this is just really bad. The mission took me over an hour to complete. By the end of it, I wanted to just stop playing because the game was just so long and so tedious. I just didn't want to play this mission. Like, I would have been fine with the mission as long as it wasn't so long and repetitive. There wasn't even any variation in enemies, it was just the Flood. And I say repetitive because each floor you have to go up is the same layout, same type of enemies, it's just the same everything. And I understand for back then, they had to copy resources and stuff in the same space, but come on, this was just too much. Otherwise, I have no complaints at all, and I love everything else about this game. And I would definitely play this game again, only to play it on Legendary though, because on Heroic, the game was really fun to play. Got very frustrating at points, but otherwise it was really fun. Now on to multiplayer. There honestly isn't much to say about the multiplayer, but I will mention 3 things. The first one is the fact that there is only one style of gameplay, which is Slayer. I have no problem with this game mode, but it was only one mode, and it can get quite repetitive and boring after a little while. Because this is a remaster, they could have fully taken advantage of the new hardware, so then they can have bigger maps, even more types of modes. The second thing about multiplayer is that the multiplayer maps are only shown in the original art style, not in the remastered version. I do not understand why they did this, but I would have preferred them doing it. After a little while though, I got used to the older graphics, but for a remaster of a game like this, they should have remastered the multiplayer as well. My third and final issue are the weapons. Now the only weapon that I noticed I was really effective with was the pistol. Every time I used the assault rifle or any other weapon, I had no luck. The only time I could ever get kills was with the pistol. Everyone else had this figured out soon enough, because everybody was just using pistols at some point. If they'd had just made all of the weapons semi-equally damaged, this would have been more of a fair game. But anyways, most of this game was just amazing. The story is incredible, the characters are great, and the music just made the entire game for me. And the multiplayer was simple, but it was a lot of fun. And my recommendation is that you should definitely play this game, especially if you have Game Pass. You will not regret it. Anyways, those are my thoughts and opinions about Halo Combat Evolved. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and see you next time.